Hey there, hope you're doing good. Do you believe ethics are important? Would you like to know the ethical code of people you like to work with? If so, this video tells you my ethical code so that you can figure out if my idea of ethics works for you. These are the guidelines I try to live my life by. The first and most important is the golden rule. I'm not a religious person, but this is still a good rule to live by. Do to others what you would like them to do to you. When I'm not sure how to handle a particular situation, I think about how I would like to be treated if I were on the other side, and things immediately become clear. The second guideline is transparency. When I wonder about what I'm doing, I imagine myself saying it in public. If I would hesitate, that's an indication that I should stop to think whether it's wrong. The next guideline is when I'm proposing a deal with someone and I'm not sure if they have fully understood it, I clarify, especially the bad parts of the deal from the other person's point of view. All the more so if they are less experienced than me. I err on the side of explaining things that might be clear than to let something go which wasn't. One aspect of pointing out the bad parts of a deal as presenting trade-offs as trade-offs rather than as pure benefits. Moving on, I don't put things in obfuscated terms. I don't do it deliberately, and I try to avoid doing it accidentally. I think about what I'm going to say, review it before saying it, and ask if there's a simpler way of saying it. Sometimes I realize there is, and I didn't think of it earlier, so I switch to it. On some occasions, however, I feel uncomfortable simplifying. I stop to think why. I may feel that the other side won't accept the proposal if it's clear. Then I stop and think whether I should make a significantly different proposal or improve the proposal rather than trying to sweep the bad parts under the carpet. Or if I should go ahead and make it but be mentally prepared for it not to work out. In any case, when I notice I am uncomfortable about calling a spade, it makes me introspect and understand why I don't want to be transparent and fix the underlying problem. I try to play positive sum games rather than zero or negative sum games. In a negative sum game, you are likely to hurt the other side along with yourself. In a zero sum game, you can win only by hurting the other side, and that's not a dynamic you want to create for yourself because you'll regret it either way. If you lose, you'll regret losing. If you win, you'll regret winning by making someone lose. I also try to be careful of the everyone's doing it defense, or as someone I know says, it works. These are usually covers for something unpleasant. If it were pleasant, you wouldn't have felt the need in the first place to justify it like this. When I see a situation I wish could be better, I try to raise the bar even if only one notch. As Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. Don't confuse ethical and legal. In general, I follow the law, but there are edge cases. Some things that are legal are unethical, like misleading people in a certain way. And some things that are technically illegal are perfectly fine, like driving 41 kilometers per hour in a 40 kilometer per hour zone. The law is just someone else's opinion of what you should do. While we should all abide by the law in general, in edge cases, I go with my opinion of what's ethical. The next guideline is, we all have a responsibility to not make anything worse in the world, but there's nothing wrong with not fixing a problem that exists already. If you're walking down the road, don't throw trash, but you don't need to stop and pick up trash that others threw. For example, I disagree with criticisms of tech giants for not hiring enough women or underrepresented groups. Of course, companies should not be biased, consciously or unconsciously, against any group, which is both wrong and makes companies lose out on good people. But beyond that, companies or individuals don't have an obligation to go around fixing society's problems. We have governments and non-profits for that. All we are obligated to do is not make anything worse. For example, I wouldn't want to run a factory that pollutes a river people drink from. I think twice before making a commitment, but once I do, I keep it. The final ethical guideline I follow for myself is this quote: someone is always looking at you as an example of how to behave. Don't let him down.